Now we're looking at life lesson number 12. Forgive. I know this is easier said than done. There's so many things that happen in our lives that make us feel bitter towards some people. We are angry towards some people. And I always believe that I must never hate anyone. I think the day that I start hating somebody is the day that I'll start disliking myself, because I think hate is a very strong word. So if people do you wrong, if they disrespect you, if they do whatever, forgive them. It's not going to take much out of you. And sometimes the forgiveness that you give them will help them to rectify the mistakes that they've made. But if we go on living our lives not forgiving people for the mistakes that they made, how can we encourage them to grow from their mistakes? Life lesson number 13, very similar to number 12, is forgive, don't hold grudges. People make mistakes. That's part of life. You make mistakes. I make mistakes. And those mistakes allow us to become better people. If we constantly hold grudges against each other, we're never going to grow. So forget about the mistakes that people make and think about their strengths. Instead of looking at all the things they do wrong, look at all the things that they do right. Look at all the ways that you can appreciate them and recognize them. This is both professionally and personally. Life lesson number 14. Don't hate. Like I've mentioned before, hate is a very strong word. You know, if there's something that you hate, hate is a feeling. Hate takes up energy. Why waste your precious energy on hate when you can rather use it positively on loving and on showing compassion and all sorts of positive things? Don't allow yourself to have hate, because it doesn't inspire you to be your best. It doesn't make you look pretty. Trust me, when a person is full of hate, you can see it from a mile away. Lesson number 15. Be kind to the car guard, to the waiter, basically all the people that provide a service to you and everybody else in your life. But those people that stand out and watch your car in the rain and in the sun, and those waiters that are serving so many angry customers, the little bit of gratitude that you show them goes a long way. You will never understand just how much it means to them until you actually do something to appreciate and to recognize them. The joy that you feel within from doing that will make you feel better. I always feel better when I am involved in thanking a car guard or a waiter. And this is one of the lessons that I learned from my husband, because prior meeting him, I used to very easily complain. I used to sometimes be rude to them, and I learned that, you know, that didn't paint a nice picture about me, and I didn't want to be that person. So thank you, hubby, for that. Life lesson number 16. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I am a facilitator. For those of you who don't know, I'm in learning and development. So whenever I am facilitating training, I always ask my learners to feel at ease to ask questions, and they never have to wait until the course finishes. They must ask a question during the content, because if you don't ask that question, you won't have clarity. And when you don't have clarity, it's going to be stuck in your mind, and you're not going to be able to focus on the rest of the content. There's no question that's a stupid question. And very often, if you ask a question, there's probably a few other people in the room that are wondering the same thing, but just too afraid. So you could be helping other people who have the same question, but you could also be helping a facilitator like myself to ensure that there's more clarity and to give me some sort of an indication that I need to maybe give more examples to make sure that everybody understands. Life lesson number 17. Trust. This is something I also wish that I learned earlier in life. I've been through a few bad relationships. I've had bad experiences. And because I never heal from one to the next, I used to be this person who would make the next person pay for the mistakes the previous person did. And that's absolutely unfair, because it's just not right. If somebody from your past has caused you not to trust them, why should the new person in your life, why should the new person in your life be responsible for what happened in your past? This is not only in personal relationships, but maybe you had a boss that you couldn't trust previously. Don't think that your new boss is going to be the same, okay? Learn to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and if and when that person breaks their trust in you, then by all means you have reason not to trust them. Life lesson number 18. Don't assume and don't accuse. Darling, if you have no facts, don't assume and don't accuse. Assumption and accusations or false accusations often causes relationships to break and marriages to fail. People end up being divorced and experiencing breakups simply because there is so much of assumptions. So darlings, I'm going to remind you, if you don't have the facts, don't accuse and don't assume. You know what they say about assumption after all. Life lesson number 19. Don't compare yourself to others. You may just sell yourself short. You may be destined for greater things than the person that you're comparing yourself to. So if you look at somebody, have a look with a positive mindset where you want to grow and aspire to be better than your current state. Don't compare yourself to other people, be it the car that you drive, be it your weight, be it the house that you live in, be it your husband. Please just don't compare. It's not healthy at all. We are all different. Life lesson number 20. Be different. We are all different. Embrace your differences. Don't feel bad if you stand out from the crowd. You're allowed to have your own opinions, and you're allowed to think differently. And just because you think differently and just because your opinions differ from other people does not make you less relevant. Okay? Life lesson number 21. Love yourself first. Gosh, in my younger days, I always looked for love in someone else, and that's a huge mistake. Never ever look for love in someone else. The love that you need is all in here. It's within yourself. If you're able to learn to love yourself, the love that you attract will automatically come to you. You open up yourself to love outside if you're happy with who you are. But if you're not happy with the person that you are, how can you expect somebody else to be happy with you? How can you expect somebody else to love you if you yourself don't love you? Life lesson number 22. Be fussy about who you include in your circle. You know, they say that you are the company you keep. By the way, if you search on my blog for the company you keep, I did write a blog post about that. I think it was last year or the year before last. So whether it's friends or family, people have influence on you. And the more that you join people that have a negative mindset, the more energy they're draining from you. And the more negative you become because you're so used to being around people that are negative. So it's very important to spend your time with people that add value to your life. Sorry about that. You can hear my child in the background.